Nathan Grubel, NBA writer for No Ceilings and founder of Draft Deeper. Nathan, I'm sure you haven't had too much to do these last couple weeks. I'm sure you haven't been too busy. So thanks for taking some time out of your day to hop on the show. But no, I know it's been crazy. So thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Alan, it's been a constant grind, like you said, for not just weeks, but months, really for the whole team, as we try our best to get as much intel in as possible, make sure that we have all of our evaluations in order. We have plenty of meetings to make sure that we're making all the right decisions with everything we're doing. It's a lot of work. Everyone knows if they do their own boards and mocks and have their own platforms, they know how much work goes into it, but we love it, man. That's why we do it.
Well, I was going to say, Nathan, I saw a post this morning that said that No Ceilings nailed 16 draft picks in their correct positions. I'm telling you right here, Nathan, I didn't see Nique Clifford to the Kings. Obviously, they didn't initially have a pick. I just had Maxime Raynuad on my big board, and I'm walking around here like I'm the man, Nathan, and I didn't even give him a number. I just said, go get him, and he ended up sliding. So kudos to you and your team for nailing on at least 16. That's great.
No, 100%. Like I said, a lot of intel, a lot of hard work goes into any sort of mock draft that you're putting together like that leading up. But yeah, we had 16 picks nailed right on the nose. We had 13 more that were within a range of about 4 draft spots, give or take, either direction. So we were one of the most accurate mock drafts in the entire media space, which is something that we have to be incredibly proud of as an independent collective. So hats off to everyone on the team, especially guys like Tyler Rucker, Tyler Metcalf, Corey Tulliva, really going at it, getting a lot of that intel in and making sure that we have our ducks in a row. And we kind of deserve some of that respect in the space. So glad it's finally starting to really pay off in a big way, especially this year.
Hell yeah, you do. Let's start here, Nathan, and tell me if this sounds familiar. Sacramento continues the undrafted free agent formula of just getting pure bleep holes on 2 ways that are going to physically dominate in the Summer League and G League. Cardwell, talking about Dylan Cardwell, is nice get on that type of deal. Nathan, you wrote that about Dylan Cardwell. Give us your breakdown on the UDFA that the Kings picked up last night after the draft.
Alan, you made me a little nervous when you started reading that tweet because I'm not sure yet. All of it was made for the radio airways, but I'm glad we got that bleep in there. Dylan Cardwell, experienced center out of Auburn, played next to Janai Broom here for a few years at Auburn, helped them really find a lot of success in the SEC. And the thing about Cardwell is that he's not going to necessarily jump out at you from a box score perspective, right? He's very much so a player who, if you dive into the tape, you're really going to start to appreciate all the dirty work that he does. He feasts on the offensive glass. He dunks everything around the basket and is pretty much a 70% career finisher from the field for his career. A high block rate guy, career 8.9% block rate. Someone who, again, he's going to rebound, he's going to block shots, he's going to set hard screens to the top. He's one of those guys who can certainly seal off defenders as the driver's coming to the basket to create an open lane for his guards or wings as they're coming to the basket. So he's one of those nice dirty work guys who, he's not necessarily a high mistake player. He's going to be able to stay on the floor, avoid committing a ton of fouls, and he's the type of guy that you can sort of count on to just eat up minutes at the center position. And that's really what you're looking for, even in the second round, but on the undrafted free agent market. You're just looking to bring guys in your organization who are going to limit their mistakes and be able to just stay on the floor as much as possible without killing you on either side of the ball. So Cardwell, that's a really nice pickup for the Kings, and he's going to help them win some Summer League games. Alan, the Sacramento Kings love to win games in Las Vegas.
That's right.
Of recent, so he's going to help them keep doing it.
Talking to Nathan Grubel, NBA writer for No Ceilings and founder of Draft Deeper. Let's take a step back here, Nathan. And I know Kings fans are a bit confused. There were some jokes going around that they don't know how to react because they were actually happy with the draft, and national media was actually giving the Kings a lot of kudos, even though they got kudos for Devin Carter last year. It just didn't work out the same way because of injuries and things like that. What did you think of the Kings draft this season, or this 2025 go around as a whole?
I thought the Kings picked up a lot of value in this draft. I really like what they did from start to finish. You mentioned it at the top, the trade in to get Nique Clifford at the 24th pick. That to me was a home run type of pick. Nique Clifford, experienced wing out of Colorado State, started his career at Colorado, transferred down to Colorado State, really got his reps in as a primary guy for that team, right? Sometimes it's better to be in an environment where you're the guy and you get experience handling, a lot of high-level pick-and-roll type of offense. You're a primary decision maker for the team. And Nique handled himself well offensively, but was also one of the better experienced defensive wings that we had in this draft class. You can make an argument he was one of the top 5 defensive wings in the entire class. Really bouncy athlete at 6'6", someone who can hammer that ball home, can shoot the 3 ball well enough. I think he's proven over the course of his college career he's improved on the 3-point shot. That's going to be key for him. But another one of these high motor, hustle type of guys, a Josh Hart level rebounder from the wing position. He was a guy who could average over 10 rebounds a game for you. Excellent playmaker from running secondary actions, even coming in at the top, running some pick and roll for you. So I've written multiple times for No Ceilings. I actually went through and did a series called So You Think You Can Be an NBA Role Player. I would invite people to go read that on NoCeilingsNBA.com, because I pointed out Nique specifically as one of these wings who, when we look back and we sort of think about what is an NBA role player, we're generally not looking at guys who just stood in the corner, maybe put some threes up and sort of held their own defensively. They were guys who commanded a lot of usage, were the best or second best player on their respective college teams. They were used to doing a lot. And Nique's one of those guys who can come in, scale his game down, high feel, high motor type of player, great character guy to have in the locker room.
Great stuff from Nathan Grubel, NBA writer for No Ceilings. Be sure to check out that article that he mentioned about being a role player, because that's where we're going, Nathan. I joke about the Andre Robersons of the world, when it was, hey, we got our defensive guy. That's just not going to cut it anymore. And you could make the argument, even the Carusos and the Lou Dorts, them being able to play together, and I don't want to, slight Caruso at all, because I do think he can do some things offensively, but the Thunder, that's just a completely different model. And I've been kind of arguing back and forth with people about the Kings setup right now. And I call them, Nathan, the Sacramento designated hitters, because they just have too many guys that can do one thing but not another. So you bring in somebody like Nique that can do some other things on the court. Nathan, I'm going to continue to test your knowledge here with Isaac Nogues Gonzalez. Now, this was a different situation coming out of the Rip City remix. So he was already doing some things in the G League. There was the international draft. So are you familiar with him? And can you give us a little breakdown on the other undrafted free agent that the Kings picked up?
Am I familiar, Allen? I wrote his profile in the No Ceilings NBA draft guide. In case anyone didn't get a copy of the draft guide, you can still go pick it up. I know that the draft happened, but you need to go find information about these guys to understand what the Sacramento Kings are getting into. So I wrote that profile about Isaac, but listen, fun guy, 6'5" guard, as you mentioned, played for the Rip City Remix this past year in the G League, was a part of the G League International Draft. Incredibly fun passer. He's one of those very creative guys who he almost has like eyes in the back of his head. You'll see him whip the no-look passes, the behind-the-back no-look passes. There's fun dumb-bops that you've seen from some of the more fun guards that have come into the NBA. Think like Facundo Campazzo, if you remember Campazzo, who came in playing a little bit of time. That's the kind of passer he can be, and he is a ferocious defender on the perimeter. He's one of those guys who creates all sorts of havoc, great off-ball defender, certainly can lock you up a bit in one-on-one situations and isolations on the perimeter. The thing about Isaac, though, man, he has a tough time putting the ball in the basket, and that can be something that can really limit somebody's career in terms of upside. He wasn't necessarily horrible when he got inside the arc. He has a decent floater. He can finish a bit at the basket, but his shooting mechanics are not the greatest. I'll leave it at that. Don't want to be too down on the young man, but that's certainly an area where if he puts in the time, the effort, and the Kings coaching staff, the Stockton staff can work with him on improving his shot. He's got some of the other elements to his game to where he understands what's going on both ends of the floor at a high level. You put more of that scoring stuff together, he could be he could be a gem that we end up talking about a few years down the road from now.
Well, Nathan, as soon as we get off the phone here during one of these breaks, I'm going to get to your profile, and everybody that's listening should do that as well. Great stuff. One more for you, Nathan, because you know what? I can be a little bit facetious when it comes to the draft, because every season it feels like we have this cycle where besides the last season when that was supposed to be just a horrific draft, but besides that, this is going to be a loaded draft. And then it turns into, well, actually only 5 guys are going to be good. No, actually, it's going to be 10. Honestly, the whole thing is going to be great. There's going to be no misses. And I'm seeing what happened right now, these last couple nights in 2025, with all the movement that we saw, and everybody is high on everybody. And now I'm looking at 2026, and I'm saying, and I'm already seeing it, Nathan, and I know you know, no, you don't understand. 2026 is going to be something we've never seen. Is 2026, is that draft supposed to be everything that everybody's talking about? And if you're the Sacramento Kings, is it a strong enough draft where you think, look, not to get into trades or things like that, but do you say, hey, we want to make sure that we're positioned in this crazy Western Conference where we just found out, the Jazz are going for Jaylen Brown, so they're not trying to tank. Nobody's trying to tank, but maybe you start to push forward some of the younger pieces to say, hey, we're going to do what the Wizards say and say, we're just developing our young talent in order to position ourselves a little bit better for what's supposed to be a very, very loaded 2026 draft.
Hey, Allen, sometimes you don't even have to tank, buddy. Sometimes you can get a team like the New Orleans Pelicans to give you a draft pick.
That's true.
Sometimes that very well happens.
That's true.
Sometimes those situations happen. But what I'll say about the 2026 draft is we can certainly make that comment every single year about, 1 year just passed. Now we're looking ahead to the next. And it's the fascination with the unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have another freshman class coming in. You don't know what these guys are necessarily going to bring to the table. And I will say at the top of the draft, incredibly strong crop of guys at the top of the draft. 3 players I see right now who could potentially be in place for the number 1 pick. You have A.J. Jabonsa, Darren Peterson, and the guy who I would have number 1 on my board right now, and probably will for the foreseeable future, is Cameron Boozer, son of Carlos Boozer, 6'9" forward, incredibly strong, versatile player, plays the game the right way, can finish with either hand, can go either direction, has certainly improved his catch and shoot game, can even hit some shots on the move, and then has that defensive versatility. You can move him around the chessboard, whether he's defending around the basket, coming up on the perimeter. You feel pretty good about what you're getting from Cam Boozer on a night-in, night-out basis. And another fun passer, has that Kevin Love type of outlet passing in his game too when you're getting going in transition. So there's plenty of talent at the top. The only thing I'll say about the depth of the next potential class, and really depth of potential classes as we move here on out, I think the impact that we saw with NIL is a legitimate concern for once you get past picks 25, 30, 35. I don't think this year is just a blip on the radar. I do think we're going to keep seeing guys go back to college and stay for multiple years, and that's always going to impact the depth of the class. So it'll be another one of these things where if you and your listeners want to get smart and get a little bit out ahead on what's coming next year, study some of the incoming seniors that are coming back to school. They're running out of eligibility, because those are going to be the guys like we saw this year. They're going to be the players who are rising up draft boards next year in a very similar position outside of, again, that very obvious group of freshmen and sophomores that we know are going to be at the top.
Well, we do know that the Kings love a seasoned college vet, so I think that is a match made in heaven. Nathan, I got a bonus one for you, and this is just for me because it's kind of a running joke on the show. It's not a joke to me. I really wanted this guy, but he seemed to slide a bit, ends up going to Brooklyn, I believe. My guy, Grant Nelson out of Bama, what happened? Did I have him slotted too high? It felt like every time I looked, he was moving further and further down, and maybe he was trying to position himself to Brooklyn, but I don't know if that was the case. What was your take on Grant Nelson out of Bama and maybe how he ended up going undrafted into the Nets?
I mean, Grant's a fun player, don't get me wrong. I think the main cause that I would have for Grant is I don't know if he's necessarily the master of one specific thing, right? Like, you look at some of these guys who they may have some fun skills. They may be a certain size but do they have that one particular thing that they can hang their hat on, whether it's shooting, whether it's defense, whether it's motor and athleticism? I mean, Grant's certainly not a bad athlete by any means. He was jamming the ball home on some people on some dunks for multiple years in college, but I'm not quite sure he has that one particular thing that a coach is going to look down the bench and say, I know I'm going to get this out of you every single night. Come in, let's get some minutes, let's see what you can do on the court. So I think that's certainly something that NBA teams and executives think about when they're evaluating draft prospects. But again, it's that, what is that one to two signature things that you can do for me that I know I'm going to get from you? And then how else are you in terms of your other skills? What else do you bring to the table, and how much are you not taking off the table for me and my team if I put you on the floor and give you some minutes? So I think Grant, I'll tell you what, Grant has a chance to work his way into an NBA rotation somewhere. I'm not going to rule that out for him. Again, that type of springy athlete at about 6'9", 6'10". If he can figure out how to shoot the three ball from distance with some regularity, he's got a chance to break into a rotation somewhere.
Nathan Grubel, I could talk to you all day, but I know you're busy getting ready for Summer League and everything else to come. Be sure to follow Nathan Grubel, NBA writer for No Ceilings and founder of Draft Deeper. Nathan, we got to do this again, man. Appreciate it so much, and enjoy your weekend.
You let me know whenever you need me, Allen. I'm here for it. If you want to do some Kings Summer League reactions, you know where to find me. All right?
Let's get it done. Thank you so much, Nathan. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
Great stuff from Nathan Grubel. That'll be up if you're just getting in your car. Alan, I missed it. It'll be up on YouTube and on the Sactown Sports app shortly. When we return, we break down